Donald Trump is a terrible liar, which would come as a surprise to anyone who knows how much he lies, but that practice hasn't really helped him that much. And we saw it in its full form on 60 Minutes last night when Donald Trump was asked about maybe the most corrupt pardon in American history. Donald Trump's pardoning of the founder of Binance, who helped fund his crypto stablecoin to the tune of $2 billion. Donald Trump, of course, profiting off of every aspect of the presidency. And he said what? He said that he didn't know, but that answer was apparently not good enough for not just Democrats, independents, and anyone with a brain, but a host at Fox who is now decrying this action by Donald Trump and completely dying inside at this disgusting clip. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into that Fox host that was disappointed in the Donald and is now hitting back at their dear leader, I want to start with Donald Trump remembering who the man he pardoned actually is. Well, last night he told us that he didn't, but let's take a look at a clip from last week.
The founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him, and did it have anything to do with his involvement in your
family's? Which one? Who is that?
The founder of Binance. He has an involvement in your own family's crypto
one,
business.
Yes. I believe we're talking about the same person because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that. Are you talking about the crypto person? Yes. A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything, that what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing, you fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime, that he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
So Donald Trump does know who CV is. So again, either that was some of the most blatant and worst lying that I've ever seen. And honestly, it's funny. I said this last night. Donald Trump initially sued Paramount. He sued 60 Minutes. He sued CBS because he was mad that they edited an interview with Kamala Harris, even though they edited technically Donald Trump's interview last night, not just for time, but also because it was a disaster. A little aside, they edited out the part in which Donald Trump said that he won a huge lawsuit against them and that they're fake news and that they did everything wrong and hate and lie. That's what they edited out, but I think Donald Trump wishes that they had edited out some of these answers. Trump saying that he didn't remember who CV was either is an admission of his clear cognitive decline or, again, just bringing more attention to this incredibly corrupt pardon by lying about it and trying to deflect, which he can't do. And neither can his son, Eric, because before we get into what Fox had to say about this pardon and about this lie, I want to start with how Eric views the profiting off the presidency.
Easing the restrictions on the crypto industry, would you acknowledge that your family has benefited from those changes?
I mean, Caitlin, all of our crypto ventures started when we were in courthouses. I mean, you were often sitting next to me on those wooden pews in front of Mershon and Engoron, and we were literally working in the crypto industry in those days when everybody gave us zero chance of actually winning. They said we had no shot, and it was much more likely that we were all going to get put in jail for doing absolutely nothing, hence under siege, right, than be back in the White House. So, no, I think one has nothing to do with the other. I think, crypto is modern-day finance, and what do you say? What are you going to do, stay out of the financial industry when you've been in business for your entire life? But nothing I do has anything to do with the White House. Nothing I do has anything to do with Washington, D.C. I try and stay as far away from that place as humanly possible.
Okay, so let me get this straight, because it's difficult with these people sometimes. So because you were prosecuted, rightfully so, for being criminals, more criminal activity is what you have to turn to? So Trump didn't need to go to jail because there was some rehabilitation that was needed. I think letting him go, letting him continue to be a citizen without repercussions, without accountability, clearly didn't work, because the answer to getting held accountable for your crimes is not more crime, Eric. So Donald Trump gets to steal billions of dollars and pardon a man who pled guilty, by the way. to his charges. And this crypto exchange, Binance, do you know who it was allowing to move money around? It was like Hamas and drug cartels, dictators, the worst of the worst, terrorist organizations. Donald Trump pardons this guy. How does that keep us safe? It doesn't. But that's what Eric says is totally fine. Fox, though, had a different response. Fox News host calls out double standard of Biden auto pen backlash after Trump admits to not knowing billionaire he pardoned. Fox News host Guy Benson called for Donald Trump to receive more scrutiny for admitting to pardoning a man he didn't even know on Monday. Last month, Binance co-founder ZV, commonly referred to as CZ, received a pardon from the Trump administration. Zhao pleaded guilty in 2023, failing to sufficiently combat money laundering on his crypto exchange. He was sentenced to 4 months in prison. When pressed about the pardon on the most recent episode of 60 Minutes, of course, Trump claimed he had no idea who CZ was. Guy Benson, furious with the clip of Trump, wrote, "If we care about Biden's auto pen scandal or his pardons and commutations, we should. Shouldn't this answer from Donald Trump on this set of facts draw scrutiny and concern? Oversight shouldn't be selectively partisan and reflexively tribal by either side." Now, I'm not one to often agree with the Fox host, but I take comfort in knowing that the Fox host is agreeing with me. This does deserve scrutiny, especially because, as we opened the show, Donald Trump does know who CZ is. He said to Caitlin Collins, "You know nothing about crypto. I know everything. I know everything about this guy. I'm so in the know." So if Donald Trump is so in the know and Caitlin Collins isn't, then why does Caitlin Collins know about this pardon today and Donald Trump doesn't? Explain that to me. Because clearly this is not an auto pen situation. Trump knew of the guy. So is it that he decided he was going to dump that memory because it was convenient so he could squirm out of the question with a lie? Or is it because, as many doctors have suspected, he might have had a stroke, there might have been some other medical event, the reason for his second annual, and that's not how annual works, by the way, trip to Walter Reed? His droopy face, his makeup-covered hands, his swollen cankles, his slurring words, his declining memory. Should we not talk about this more? Because that's got to be the reason. That's got to be the reason. It is either that, which of course is very plausible, or, as we know, there's nothing that Donald Trump loves more than bailing out billionaires, helping his criminal buddies. This is a man who came into office saying that he was going to lower your cost. Not only has he done no such thing, but he has raised them as billionaires get the biggest tax cuts we have ever seen. He likes surrounding himself with these criminals. Donald Trump has to live in this bubble. He has to live in this lie that all these other people were unfairly prosecuted. The man pled guilty to his crimes. And Donald Trump says it was a Biden witch hunt. Why is that? Because Donald Trump has to believe that all of these people who were white-collar criminals like him, all of these criminals, all of these people who have broken the law, the Prince Andrews of the world, the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, disgusting, disgusting, vile people, the CZs of the world, Donald Trump has to say, well, they are fine too. They must have done nothing wrong. It must be a witch hunt as well, because it's the only way that he can justify in his head that he is also not guilty of these crimes. It's the only way. He has to be able to say, everybody is just prosecuting me and my friends. Everybody's just going after me and my friends, when in reality, Donald Trump is just friends with criminals, pedophiles, the most disgusting abusers in the country and in the world. Those are the people Donald Trump surrounds himself with. He said Netanyahu should get a pardon. A war criminal named Donald Trump indiscriminately killing people, blowing up fishermen in international waters. That war criminal told the world that Benjamin Netanyahu, who has killed tens of thousands of women and children and still is every day, deserves a pardon. He likes to surround himself with these people, all while your cost go up. So at a time in which Donald Trump is throwing his Great Gatsby Halloween party, let's focus on affordability by following the lead of someone like Zohran Mamdani, who just talked to our good friend Brian Tyler Cohen, because tomorrow's election is one of the biggest ever. So take a look at this clip.
You know, you have been relentlessly focused on affordability. And so the irony of that is that Republicans ran a largely successful campaign in 2024 predicated on that exact issue. And so what does it say that they're attacking you for your campaign where you focus on affordability, and it's them who are doing identity politics now, which of course the polling and the early vote suggests have been largely a failing strategy?
Well, I think it shows that they're terrified of the prospect of us actually delivering on the same message that they ran on, because it would show in such stark contrast what they do with power and what we do with power, right? This is a president who ran on cheaper groceries, who's now spending $300 million to remodel a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could give SNAP benefits to 100,000 New Yorkers. So the contrast is one that would be too great for them to bear. And that's what we have the opportunity to show, is that we don't just diagnose the affordability crisis in the lives of working class New Yorkers, we also deliver on that same crisis.
You know, you have brought young people in as the result of that exact issue at a time when the Democratic Party was basically purging young voters and Republicans were making historic inroads on those voters. And so what's the best piece of advice for the rest of the party looking to make those same inroads with a cohort of voters that they've been largely unsuccessful with?
I think we have to leave the days of speaking with condescension to young people behind. We have to treat young people as we would any other participant in our democracy, treat their struggles as legitimate. And what I've found time and time again is that this affordability crisis, it is pushing young people out of this city or making them feel the only way that they could stay is if they live in their parents' apartment. And that's not a tenable situation for a city that's looking to give rise to the dreams of so many across the 5 boroughs. It's young people who have been canvassing, young people who've been phone banking, young people who've convinced their parents, their aunties, their uncles, their grandparents to come out and vote. I had a grandmother come up to me not too long ago who said, my granddaughter told me that I couldn't come home if I didn't vote for you. This is an example of what's built this campaign.
If you are in New York City and you have not already, get out and vote. Vote for Zohran. This is a generational candidate. This is a generational communicator. This is someone who will stand up to Donald Trump. This is someone we need as mayor of New York City. We are going to continue to talk about Democrats who are fighting. We're going to continue to fight. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments and hit that notification bell. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.